There we go. Okay, we're starting to have people coming on. That's excellent. There seems to be a bit of a delay with the internet on everyone's ends, and that's okay. I'll start and connecting with everyone. So I'm very excited. I know everyone's thinking, oh, this is Suicide Prevention Day. This is a heavy day. It's a heavy moment. Well, no, I am going to be positive. I'm going to be happy about it. And I'm going to celebrate this year with you. And I'm so happy to see all your beautiful faces and feel your energy, feel your connection, have your love, your time, and your support here as well, because today is a very important day. And I love the fact that there's people out there, that there's movers and shakers who devote their time and their energy and their love to setting up days like this, to helping others who are in a place of need, to help people who are perhaps stuck in circumstances where they cannot speak, where they cannot, necessarily ask maybe even for the help that they want or need. Sometimes people cannot afford it. And it's so beautiful that movements here are created like this for people who really struggle with suicide. And one of my really, really good friends who I just thought of now to actually invite her and see if she can jump on here just randomly now that I think of it, because she has invested so much time in a company called Mithra Trust, which is all about suicide prevention. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to see if I can quickly get. I'm so excited. Okay. So yes, exactly. So I'm this really just absolutely made my day. I cannot believe I did not think about her. So I'm really excited for you to meet her, to connect with her, and to even follow her, check out what she's doing, because she's also an absolute big advocate for people and doing something absolutely amazing for the world. And so for everyone else also about suicide prevention, I'm sure you've seen that, there's a big movement that I started this year with my amazing team who's also here with me, that I so deeply love and appreciate, because they help me to realize everything that I'm doing and to reach people, to reach audiences, to reach people who would never have dreamed of, people making, webinars or videos about awareness days, because this is really important. Because of course, the reason why there's an awareness day is because there's an absolute deep need and call for this to be more established, for people to have more awareness of this, because, suicide is something that I was also challenged by. It's something that also deeply affected my life. And after 2 suicide attempts, I realized, well, maybe I'm just meant to be here. Maybe I'm just meant to, push through and see, where am I going to go with this? What am I going to do with this? And one thing that I realized that pulled me through the most is that I realized I stopped waking up for something. I lost my passion for something and for people and for circumstances that I absolutely used to love. And I stopped believing in happiness. I stopped believing in something that used to make me happy. And here's the powerful part of this. Even something as small as just believing in, there was this girl that I spoke to who really struggled with suicide. And I said to her, what can you tell me today, right now, that you can wake up for the next day and you will wake up excited and feel that it brings meaning for your life? And she said to me, Evette, I absolutely love my dog. And I will wake up for my dog every day because I know my dog loves me and I love my dog. And I said, perfect. Let that be your starting point. And I know for some, this sounds really small. This sounds really like, well, that's not significant. Well, wait, pause right there. That is exactly the problem. It's not significant enough. Really? That's the problem. Look how we bring judgment from outside of ourselves into our life, and how it affects us, and how we make decisions based on what is important and what is not, when deep down we might not even resonate with it. So for this girl, she was a teenager, for her to feel that to wake up for my dog every day because, he loves me. He wants to go for walks with me. He relies on me. And that's true. That dog needs her, and vice versa. And that dog served as this beautiful form of support for her during that time. And it helped her to actually get back on track. Slowly but surely, it helped her to get back on track. So the power of this day, as you know, is to bring awareness. But now it is also to look at maybe where in your life have you felt a little bit disconnected from something that you used to love? Is there maybe a moment in time where you felt, I don't like this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. But maybe it's because there's been something in your life that where you have been adding so much stress to something that now you associate the very thing that you used to love with stress. And now it's just, now old stress is just standing between you and this concept or this thing that you used to love. And if you can find ways and tools to shift that stress through meditation, MIT, when B comes online, she's going to share really great, sources as well in terms of suicide prevention. And there are so many solutions out there. But when we are in that state of feeling so unresourceful, that is when we start to lose hope. We start to lose sight of what used to be important. Because the pain points that we feel is so strong, it's so great, that we cannot see beyond that. And here she is, Bhairavi Prakash. I'm so excited. So excited. Yay, B! Hang on, let me spotlight you.
Hi.
It's so exciting to have you here. Welcome.
I know.
Oh, welcome.
Thank you for having me here.
I'm so happy to have you. So everyone, this is Bhairavi, also known as B. She is one of my best friends. We've been friends for 15 years, many years. We've seen each other through good days, bad days, and, professionally supported each other and personally also supported each other. And I know it's early for you and you're just like jumping on here with me just spontaneously as I know you. And I can't believe I didn't even think about, asking you to jump on, because this day is kind of like, this is something really huge. It's so up your alley. And this is something that, you are a huge advocate for. So firstly, just thank you for your time, your energy, and your love, and for being here. And, for everyone else here with me, it's people like B that I absolutely celebrate today. I absolutely celebrate people like her team, what she's built, what she's created in her life as well to support people who are in need, because you are right now in India, and also the suicide rates there is tremendously high. And also it's a country that is not necessarily as wealthy as what we of course would like it to be. So access to medical support, assistance, psychologist is forget about it for at least 90% of the population.
Yeah. It's really interesting because when you look at the rates in different parts of the world, there are different populations, different age groups that have higher rates. But in India, it's the young students. It's actually students that have the highest rates of suicide in the world. Young Indian students who are studying, they feel the pressure so much to succeed. They feel the pressure so much to be academically good, to be of worth, to take care of their parents. Like all of these expectations of upward mobility are put onto them, and their parents do everything, right, for them to get into good schools, get into good education. So this thought of what are my dreams, what is my passion, very few privileged people get to do that. I am one of them, but it's not an easy path to take because the focus has to be on taking care of your family, bringing in that, upward mobility, finance, security, all of that is really important. And then when you kind of break it down at different levels, so when we look at the pandemic, for instance, we've had this completely silent shadow pandemic happening with domestic violence, with gender-based violence, with sexual assaults at home. And children are a huge part of that. And
Yeah.
again, the amount of self-harm and rates of attempted suicides are really, really high, but going unreported. So it was very recently that, the act of committing suicide was made, it was removed as a crime. So so earlier, if you had committed, so that's why they use the word committed, because it's a crime. So if you'd committed suicide, you could be taken to jail after that if you survived, which is why most people wouldn't even report it. So with cases of underreporting,
Oh,
the rates were
wow.
so high. But very recently, it was decriminalized. But again, there's shame around it. People don't know what to do. They don't know how to act. They don't know how to ask for help and support. And help and support isn't easily available. There are so
Yeah.
many barriers to seeking help. And it's just complicated. It's systemic, but also just like on an individual personal level, it's really hard.
Yeah.
So
what basically also now is happening, what I'm also hearing, is just there's so many, because of the unreported cases, we don't even know the real statistics anymore, which is probably skyrocketed even more.
absolutely.
Wow.
And across different levels, and usually people, and when I was growing up, we were told that, oh yeah, it's the farmer suicides that are horrible, so it's economic. But then with the pandemic, you saw a whole bunch of business people. You saw a whole bunch of business people start doing that because the financial pressures were too high, and the sense of shame of this whole culture of toxic masculinity, men not being allowed to speak and share their emotions, them having to be the providers, them having to play certain roles. They didn't know how to deal with it. So they keep going deeper and deeper and deeper in, where they feel like the only way out is this. So the kind of despair that's there across. And then when you look at historically oppressed, so in India, historically oppressed, like in the West, you might talk of BIPOC, right? Like Black, Indigenous, people of color. So for us, it's about caste, it's about religion, it's about gender. And within that, when you look at it, so you have sexuality, like the marginalizations are so different here, similar yet different. So, because we all look the same beyond a certain point, like colorism does come in terms of, how light or dark our skin is. But beyond that, you can't really look at a person and say that you belong from this caste or you belong from that caste. So when it comes to that, the ability for them to, because they've been historically oppressed, the help available, the help that's available in context that they understand, that they can appreciate, that they can engage with, is also very, very low. And yeah, most people find the need in India today to still, like, maybe even hide their caste. They wouldn't really talk about it because they would face some sort of discrimination. So if you're a woman, you're discriminated against. If you're non-binary, if you're trans, like any sort of gender identity faces discrimination that's not like a cis het male. And that kind of just continues onwards. And of course, for them, for the cis het males, they have that toxic masculinity, they have strong patriarchy, which also impacts them. So in reality, like, everybody has issues and problems.
I absolutely love how you talk about, toxic masculinity, because it's so true. And, what's happening there in India also with the men, it's an absolute ripple effect of what's happening with other men in other countries as well, because of the societal, expectations and the pressure and how everything should be. And, what's actually funny is that people think, oh, it's pressure because of XYZ, or it's a partner, or it's parents, or it's this. At the end of the day, it's almost like society is the biggest death trap at the end of the day, because it is of that collective belief systems that's being projected onto people.
Like, I was talking to this kid the other day. She's a teenager in school, hasn't been in school for like a couple of weeks. Is going to a psychiatrist, is on medication. But her thoughts of like self-harm are constant. And yet she's talking to me. She's like, oh, I don't want to exist anymore. So I'm like, okay, but the fact that you're talking to me means that there is a part of you that wants to live. So do you want to like engage with that? Do you want to give that? And she was so light and free and open talking about it. And she'd keep, checking and giving me different things that she's doing, just to be like, oh, how are you going to react? What are you going to say? Is this going to be shocking to you? And when all I had to do was just accept her. zero judgments, and just tell her that, it's okay. Like, if this is how you feel, this is how you feel. And the shift that was there after that was phenomenal. And she just broke down, and she's like, my mom says that, and again, in India, we have this little bit of a dramatic streak. So if, especially between parents and children, so the child says, I'm going to take my life. The mother's like, let's do it together. Like, you want your life to go, I want my life to go. And it becomes like a dramatic moment. But they fed into that. And she was like, I don't want to be a burden. And that's what she takes away from it. So in these contexts, like, knowing what to say and what not to say becomes so important. Yeah. And that's kind of the work that I've been doing for these past 3 years, just trying to get people just this simple, easy statements. Just don't say this if someone comes, because we get worked up. We don't know what to say. And it came from that place for me. When people come and say these things to me, I want to be like, live, please live. But you don't want to hear that when you're in that state. So how do I kind of engage with that? How do I come up with like easy, simple statements just to ground and root me as somebody that's holding space, but also then help everybody to just be like, okay, there is no shame around this. Like, let's start breaking that down. Let's just be there with our presence, with kindness, with love, and just meet them where they're at and see that they are in a lot of pain. And at that point in time, not think about, who's causing the pain, where's the pain from? Just accept that they're in so much pain that the only way that they see out is to escape from this.
Right. And what I'm also hearing you saying, it's almost like they're waiting for that opposition. They're waiting for that pushback from someone that they speak to invalidate them. They're waiting for the invalidation.
Because that just builds into that story of, oh yeah, I don't deserve to be here. I'm unworthy. I don't deserve to live. I don't deserve to survive. So, and in that state, like when you tell them, no, I love you, no, you're valid, they're not going to hear you. If you kind of, I just found that validating their pain, validating all the things that they've been through so far, the fact that it's so unbearable now that you can see that it taking them so much of courage just to talk to you. Yeah. Those are the kind of things that they relate to. But what will your parents think? What will happen to your loved ones? Think about them. Those are things that they're not going to engage with at that point in
That's time. Guilt. That's just, making it, now they feel probably everything is being made about someone else other than their feelings, which invalidates them again. Yeah. Yeah, you can't shame someone into a place of healing. It's just not going to work.
And that's what we do, right? Because we don't know what to say. We're like, oh, live for this, live for me. Like, I love you. What will I do without you? I mean, which is fair, which is valid from where you're coming from. But at that point in time, it's not what the other person wants to hear. It's not what's going to keep them going.
It's a good point that you just made there, because earlier I talked about, how I spoke to a girl actually, and I asked her, what is one thing that you can do today that can help you to feel more alive again, to help you feel like there's more sense of meaning for you? Like, what is there in your life that you still have meaning to? And she talked about her dog, and she was a teenager, and I said to her, okay, do you think that you can wake up for your dog in the morning and make your dog maybe your meaning and your sense of purpose? Is that something that you feel you can do? So what I did with her was I turned it more into like a conversation where I asked her, do you feel that's comfortable for you? Do you feel that's maybe what you want to do? Is there something or someone that you feel like you can wake up for, that you can say, this is important to me? Because I asked her, is there something that is still important to you? I mean, is there someone that maybe relies on you or something like that? And she seemed to grasp that really well. But I also don't know if that would work for everyone. Do you know what I mean?
So with this girl that I was talking about, I just asked her, I said, what are the things that you want to live for? Like, okay, I get it. You want to die. You're very clear about it. That's all you've spoken about. But what are some of the things you want to live for? Like, what are some of the things that you miss doing? What are some of the things that, every day when you don't die at the end of the day, what are some of the things that you think that, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that?
It's the way that you phrase it. Yeah, that's powerful. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now I see what you mean. Got it.
And she was able to respond to that. And she was able to get excited about that. Because she's like, yes, I see it. I see the fact that I'm talking to you, because I mentioned that a couple of times. Like, if you wanted to die, you wouldn't be talking to me. You wouldn't be telling me all of these things. So there is a part of you that wants to live. Yes, there's a huge part of you that wants to die. I see it. I'm here for it. But I'm also here for that tiny little voice that's talking to me. And for me, that seems like you're asking for help. You just want somebody to know what's going on, and I'm here for that too. So let's engage with both. And that shift for her, I felt, was really powerful.
Yeah. That's beautiful. So, you know, also one of the reasons why I love having you here is because of your extensive knowledge and experience with this, and, you know, the movements that you've created with your history. So, you know, I wanted to bring you on here because we're gonna, you know, put the replay on social media as well. So we'll live stream it to quite a big audience as well. I would love to hear from you in terms of what advice can you please help give people who don't have financial access to people, or who are scared to speak to someone because of judgment or for whatever reason? You know, it's like they're just stuck in that place of fear and they don't know what to do right now. Like, is there any advice that you can give to help them with that?
Reach out to helplines. Helplines are available across the world. And this is what I even tell, like, because helplines are underfunded in India. So you try calling, no one answers. I'm like, you have the entire country to call. There are so many helplines available, and then you have helplines available internationally. Some of them give you like a Skype link or a Zoom link, so you don't have to actually pay for it. There are access to resources that's available that's absolutely free. And we do a series at the organization that I'm with. I'm sure we can link it later on. We do a series called What to Say. And that is a resource that anybody who wants to offer love and support can do. And because of, you know, Suicide Prevention Awareness Day, week, month in September, we're talking about it. We're talking about, you know, what do you say to somebody who's actively asking you or telling you that they want to take their lives? What do you say to somebody, to a family that's had bereavement because of suicide? Like, what are the different ways to kind of engage with it? What do you say to somebody who's sharing their story and saying, I've survived an attempt, and they're sharing that with you? What do you say to them? And these are just powerful statements for us to just anchor ourselves while someone's feeling comfortable enough to share it, because our heads can get very panicky. I don't know if I'm saying the right thing. Am I being here for them? Am I being judgmental? What am I doing?
Huge responsibility. Yeah, for a lot of
it is.
people. Yeah. This is fantastic. Yeah, so we'll get, I'm gonna get you, because I know I kind of grabbed you here unexpectedly, but for the replay, I'll get all this information from you, and I'm gonna add all those slides in here with all the numbers, you know, that we can call across the world, and, you know, your movement and everything that they can possibly get their hands on to support them, and maybe even they have a friend that's going through this process as well. So what I would love to know also from you is, I want to know, share with us your movement, the name of it. Share with us, you know, why this is something that you were so passionate about. You know, what is it that kind of like grabbed you, that said, yes, I want to wake up to this every day?
So the organization that I run is called Mithra Trust. Mithra means friend. So I wanted space and resources that, I am a psychologist, so it's offered by a professional, but it's not clinical. It's friendly, it's warm, it's approachable, it's unconditional. And that's where I kind of come from as a person as well. And I wanted to give that kind of space and give that, just give that a sense of expression to kind of come out. And all of this kind of started around, so when I was in high school, a class of 30 people, there were 5 people self-harming, and they told me about it. And I was kind of dealing with it at that point in time with zero knowledge, zero resources. And then later on, there was one student in school who was, I guess, kind of like a trouble student. It was a transfer from another school. The principal knew about it, reached out to me and said, hey, keep an eye on her. And soon it almost became like I was her keeper. Like her mom would call me in the morning, check in, give me like an update on her mood. Tell me in the evening, like, oh, you know, ask me, how was she during the day? I'd give an update. And I just started talking to her mom so much. I knew so much about her family and all of that. And in school, I was just around for her in case she needed anything. But you know, we're all teenagers. We're all going through our own thing. No one's really focused on what the other person is. At that time, you're just so focused on your own self. And I was like, why am I the person doing this? Like, I'm not in any position of power. I'm not like, I don't have any responsibilities in school. Why am I the person that's doing this? Which is kind of strange for a school like mine, because, you know, it's only people in those positions of power. So if you're like the school leader or whatever, you're given these kind of responsibilities. And then, you know, fast forward a few years, I was doing my postgraduate. I get a call. I was in the UK then. I get a call, and I was told that this girl has, you know, taken her own life. And the amount of guilt that I felt, that I should have done more, I should have known more, I should have stayed in touch, I should have been available. for someone at that age to take on so much was crushing. And there was no need for me to have done that, but that was my journey, right? I had to figure all of that out. So once I kind of got into the why of it all, why did I want to be here? Why am I doing the kind of things that I'm doing? Why did the principal choose me at that point? Once I understood all of that, I realized that it's to help. So how do I help without it just being me? How can I create an organization around it? So it's not just me all the time. How do I make tools and resources available and accessible? How do I demystify mental health access, resources, support? How do we kind of get this to people all across? So my organization has been 3 years. We launched, it's going to be our 3rd birthday today, tomorrow. We launched around Suicide Prevention Day 3 years back. So it's been full circle for a not-for-profit to make it to 3 years. It's huge. It's a huge milestone. It means that, people have seen value, the grantors, the funders, all the donors have seen values to kind of get you to where you are. And that, mental health access, support, resources are available. They are free. So, and especially because when we're in this, so many of us, we don't have that financial support.
Yeah.
And that's where we find this, we find this thing of I want to work on myself, but I don't have the money, I don't have the resources to do this. So this shouldn't be something that's stopping you. There are resources available. We do safe spaces for people who face any sort of gender-based violence, any sort of abuse. We do every weekend, we have safe spaces around it. We do self-expression, we do like doodles, we do writing, different forms of self-expression. Again, so if you're a member of the queer community, if you've had any sort of experience with violence or abuse, these spaces are available to you.
Yeah. I love it so much. I've been following you. You're a friend as well, and I've been following you diligently, since the beginning of all of this, and I'm just seeing it, how it's just blooming and just doing well, and how well it's being received as well. And so we will be having all this information that you just talked about ready on slides with links, everything. So we will have that ready in the replay for anyone here that's live with us that is like, where is everything? So we'll have that all set up for you. I'll grab everything from her after this. So this is so exciting, absolutely exciting, because I was thinking, today is World Suicide Prevention Day, and it's a heavy topic. It's a very heavy topic, but a topic that deserves tremendous amount of respect. And also, I wanted to bring lightness to it. I wanted to bring love and light and support into this. And I thought, you're just the absolute best person to do that with. And, especially someone that's, also so incredibly passionate about this, because your whole life is built around this. And it's not just a job, you're saving people's lives, and it's beautiful. It's an absolute wonderful thing to do, is to give people the gift of love and support and life back to them in their hands, and empower them to take the steps further on. Because what I love about what you do also is that you empower people, you give them the tools, you give them strategies so that they can find their sense of self once again, which is what we become so disconnected from, because we're so hell-bent on trying to achieve and create and please, and is this and is that, and the family pressure is also tremendous. And I think this is also a very strong message, and I'm going to throw this in here. It might be a bit bold, but this is also a very strong message for people who are in office, meaning like people who are bosses, leaders, managers, parents, people who look up to you. It's a powerful role to have, and people who look up to you, that role must be treated with absolute respect and not be abused, because you don't know the state and the fragility of someone that's looking at you or reporting to you. And it's so important, and I almost feel like, this is something that I'm seeing so much, is that I sometimes feel like managers or companies, it would be wonderful to actually see workshops being conducted in terms of how to work with people and how to build your people and not break them down. Because yes, in families, we have that with parenting, and, maybe how to retrain parents also in some ways, because I'm seeing with my own daughter sometimes that if you're tired, you're exhausted, how easy it can be to sometimes snap, and I'm catching myself so that I don't do that. But it's sometimes a lot of people have so many emotions that's so built up that they don't have that emotional control to hold back and, not lash out, because at the end of the day, we tend to revert back to the way that we were raised. So if you don't have mindfulness practicing and awareness of that. So it's about breaking the cycle and breaking the mentality around, you know, how people should be treated who's growing up, especially when your hippocampus, that emotional brain, is starting to develop at the age of 3 until the age of 7. Like, that is just, you're dealing with something that is so incredibly fragile that everything that you do and say during that moment and phases can make or break a child's life. I mean, the quality of life on which the foundation that they're going to build their future on.
I do a whole bunch of consulting work, and I'm working with schools right now, because I believe that, you know, when we look at the violence that's there in homes, how to access that, it's in schools. But schools are a bit certain way. Again, it's very cultural. So over here, schools are very authoritarian.
Yes, exactly.
And any one word, and you know, with the pandemic, you can see that kids haven't seen each other for 2 years. They're so fragile. Anything that's said, which a teacher might just, you know, it's normal, it's usual, it's how they've been teaching for how many ever years. They're not able to handle it. And the emotional pain and the bruises that are getting built now are so huge, are so massive. We're going to see something to a scale that we have never seen before in terms of like mental health and healing. And anybody in the space and field, I'm so happy you're here, because you have so much to offer. There is so many people hurting. We ourselves are hurting, right? And we know the level to which the pandemic has impacted us. Just imagine that, multiply that. It's huge.
Of course.
For me, like, MAT is one of the best tools, methodologies that's even gotten me to where I am. The ability to kind of articulate and express that this is who I am, or like healing is what I'm supposed to be doing, or I am a person that helps, and not feeling burdened by it, not feeling tired by it, by feeling empowered with the tools, by feeling empowered by the techniques that I use. A whole lot of that, having gone through MAT so many times myself, now being able to offer it, you know.
Yeah, you're level 2 advanced practitioner, yeah.
Both those things are really important, because so in addition to doing psychology, these are additional tools that you have, especially if you are sensing something energetically. It can be very, you know, it can completely and totally put you off if you don't have the tools to know how to use it, how to understand it, when to bring it up, when not to bring it up, how to ground yourself and take care of yourself while you're doing this. So, you know, many times as healers, when we're getting drained, or even if you're a mental health practitioner, you're wondering, why am I so drained? It's because your energy is being used and you don't know how to kind of rein it in. It's so easy. Like Matt just teaches you that. It just teaches you, here are some cool tools, here's your toolbox, get into it, and you'll be fine. And the more you start trusting those tools and having fun with it and using it, you just see it all coming together so beautifully. No matter what you practice, you can just bring Matt into that. It's really wonderful.
Thank you so much for that, Bea. This is absolutely excellent. So everyone, there you have it, you know, a beautiful advocate and someone that's, you know, motivated and passionate about this and about helping people as well. And, you know, her whole life and time has been absolutely dedicated to supporting people. And we need clones of you. We need to copy you. We need like millions of you running around, you know, helping people and supporting people. And, you know, lives are being saved because of people like you. And it's just, and for me to you, thank you. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for your love, your time, your energy, your dedication, your passion, and the sacrifices that you also have made, you know, being in this atmosphere and lifting people out of that constantly. And, you know, sometimes you have your own personal challenges that you have to go through, and yet you are always there for someone else, always. It's incredible how you're like the mama, you just put all your little chickens under your wings and you can go like, everything's going to be okay, you know. That's what you do.
I learned from the best, Evette. I learned from the best. Thank you so much, Evette. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Bea. That's awesome. I'm so glad that I was able to grab her on there. She's such a mover and a shaker, and she's always ready for anything. And that's how I've known her for all these years. So absolutely happy to have her here. And yes, I would love for you all to just, you know, check out her work, because this woman has relentlessly worked to support people who are struggling with suicide. She's been, you know, involved with schools and systems and movements, and She's been doing this for many, many, many years. Even before she started Mithra Trust, she's already been very deeply involved with this. And she has an absolutely, truly fantastic, educated understanding also of suicide and the prevention of that, and to build safe and strong and healthy platforms for people to fall back on for support. And I would highly, highly recommend her and her team. Absolutely highly recommend her, hands down. I don't normally recommend people very easily, but with her, 100%, this is an absolute fantastic platform. And also for people who cannot afford help, who cannot afford support, this is why I absolutely love also what she does, because she's there for all walks of life, anyone that's in need. So also a big thank you for her time and her love and her energy. So everyone, what I would love to do with you now is to go through a beautiful healing meditation. So let's do this. And let's start by taking a nice deep breath. And let's just feel into our sense of self right now. Wherever it is that you are finding yourselves right now, be okay with it. Maybe you're feeling excited from the talk. Maybe you're feeling a bit sad. Maybe you're feeling worried. Maybe you're feeling stressed. Maybe you're feeling anxious. Wherever it is that you're finding yourself right now, be okay with it. Just knowing that the emotion or the stress is there, just to indicate to you that there's some level of discomfort. Let the discomfort be there. We're going to shift that today. We're going to give it a voice. If you're finding yourself there, I invite you now to hear, feel, see, or sense yourself in a beautiful empty place and space. And as you're finding yourself in that empty place and space right now, I invite you to hear, feel, see, or sense a beautiful beam of light that's flowing from your head, down your body, out your feet. Feeling how this beautiful healing light is flowing through every single cell in your body. Releasing all stress. And even perhaps stress that you took on from other people. Allowing that to be released. Just feeling how your body is expanding and opening up with more and more space and energy in the absence of this old stress. And just observing how it's just draining out of your feet, just down, 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 into the earth. And now, allowing that beautiful light now to flow through the area of your body where you perhaps feel any sense of discomfort, emotionally or physically. Find the home in your body where you feel that emotion. Maybe it's there in the form of tension, pressure. Maybe even heaviness, or you can feel that your attention is just being drawn to a certain area in your body. And as you're becoming aware of that, I would like you now, and I invite you to bring your full focus to that area and give it the love and the attention that it needs right now. And you can even speak to it. You can say, I see you. I see you. And it's okay that you feel like that. You are allowed to feel the way that you do. And as you're giving space and light and attention to that moment, also in that same moment, as that light is flowing through you, releasing pressure from society, releasing pressure from school systems and educational systems, releasing pressure perhaps from people that you report to, or parents, and even pressure that you've placed on yourself. Allowing all of that just now to rinse and drain out of your body, down, 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 down into the earth. It's almost like that pressure is just melting and becoming like liquid, and it's just flowing out of you into the earth. Down, 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 down. Just feeling how it's draining out of you. And as you're doing that as well, I invite you now to hear, feel, see, or sense yourself once again in that beautiful, open, empty space. And in that empty place and space, you now have all your ancestors coming forward. Beautiful, strong, loving, supportive ancestors who are loving, compassionate, understanding, supportive, bringing such a beautiful, safe presence with them. And as you are observing them, seeing how they started to form a circle around you, holding hands, and they're all just smiling at you in such a graceful and understanding way, and feeling how they're holding this beautiful sacred space for you just to be you. Feeling how they are your compassionate witnesses right now. being fully present with you and with what you need right now. And just feeling that freedom in the absence of judgment. Feeling that safe place in the absence of pressure. Allowing yourself just to feel that sense of freedom to just be who you are and who you need to be. And knowing that you are seen and that you are loved and that you are appreciated for you. Taking a nice deep breath with me. Together, what we're going to do is we're going to go into what's called the alpha brainwave state, which will help to release any old nervous energy in your nervous system and almost reset that for you right now, and to integrate this healing also in such a more beautiful way. And we'll be breathing in the mouth, out the nose 13 times. And the last breath we're going to hold as long as we can. You might feel a little bit dizzy, and that's perfect if you do. That's normal. You're just moving into what's called the alpha brainwave state. And now, breathe in the mouth, out the nose, 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 in the mouth, out the nose. Let's pick up the pace. In the mouth, out the nose, 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 in the mouth, and hold. Nice deep breath. Hold it as long as you can, allowing yourself just to drop into that dizziness, finding your place of silence, peace, and balance. And as you're in that beautiful place and space, let's do positive affirmations together. And all that you have to do is listen to my voice. I call my power back from societal pressure. I call my power back from unrealistic expectations. I call my power back from people who made me feel unworthy. I call my power back from moments and times when I doubted my own strength. I call my power back from feeling not good enough. I call back my power. I call back my passion. I call back my inner peace. I allow myself to be supported in a way that is healthy and balanced for me. I reclaim my birthright to be and feel supported in my life. Who I am is enough and good enough as I am. And also allowing yourself now to be released from any pressures that you might have felt in your life, maybe from certain people that projected that onto you because that same pressure was projected onto them. However, you no longer have to accept that pattern or that cycle. For you now to know and understand that you can be who you choose to be and stand strong within your sense of self. Knowing that you are seen and that you are heard. And just taking a nice deep breath with me. And just feeling once again that beautiful beam of light just flowing from your head, down your body, out your feet. Anchoring you back into the earth, grounding you. And balancing you. And when you're ready, you can wiggle your toes, wiggle your hands. Maybe give yourself a nice big stretch. And when you're ready, you can gently, slowly but surely start to come back. Following my voice back into the room. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and welcome back. Well done. How are you? How are you all doing? How are you all feeling? Beautiful, wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone. It was absolutely a privilege and a pleasure to have you and for me to host this for you as well. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support in this as well, because today is a very important day. And may we continue to bring awareness, love, and light into people's lives who are absolutely in need, because that's also why I do what I do in MIT. And also remember to check us out at evetterose.com. We have many more of these wonderful webinars and events where we love to support people, communicate, talk, share. We do healing meditations as well. So come find us there and see which one you feel resonates best with you as well. And thank you so much for everyone for being here. And until next time, be the light that you are. Bye, everyone.